Hey, what's up guys? So quick review here of my Mystery Ranch Metcalf pack. Really like this pack. Elk hunt, muley hunt this year. I just want to go over it quick. What I liked most about this pack, and I have used other haulers in the past, I think it's something that most people don't think about, is that the lumbar pad isn't as thick as other meat hauling packs or load hauling packs. And that's important because sometimes people associate a thicker pad with better for the low back. That's not always the case, because people that spend time in this kind of lordotic position, a thick lumbar pad can increase that sort of anterior tilt at the hip. And it's important that we can maintain, especially when carrying heavy loads, that you can maintain a neutral spine. So the one I used last year, different brand, had a much thicker lumbar pad, and I did notice that kind of, you start to get that like overactive, the erectors of the low spine. You'll feel like they're kind of tight all the time. That could be associated with a pack that's not set up correctly. But it also can be a pad that's too thick. So I was happy to see that the Metcalf doesn't have, although it has support here, and they also have their new waist belt, it wasn't as thick as the one in the past, and that worked a lot better for me, where I do have one of those spines, kind of what's called this anterior tilt, a bit more of a lordotic curve at the low back. So just something to think about when picking your next load hauling pack. Secondly, I loved the fact that, just gonna loosen up these load haulers here. I loved the ability to adjust. Okay, they have this system here where you just kind of pull this tab, this plate sits in, it acts as you know, it makes the pack more rigid, but it also acts to adjust the torso length of your pack. And that's so important for setting up your pack and making sure that it fits you correctly. So you pull this plastic piece out, okay, you slide it in, and it allows you to make these quick, excuse me, on the other side, you break the Velcro there, okay, which you can hear. I slid that in, and then that allows you to adjust that torso length of the pack. And I found, so I'm not a super tall guy, I'm 5'8", but relative to the rest of my body's makeup, I do have a longer torso. And I actually found that I had to make quite a few adjustments to get this pack to sit just right. And there were times when I did that under load, right? My pack was loaded up, and I was able to just set it down on the ground, loosen things up, pull out the adjuster here, slide it in, make just the most minor of an adjustment, and that helped me get my pack set just where I needed it. And sometimes I was altering that based on carrying load or not. Okay, and that brings me to the next point, is that the pack comes with a lid, which is great when you're lugging in all your gear, maybe setting up camp. But for the most part, when I was hunting, this was not attached. Here I've got a sleeping bag in here just to kind of show the volume. But for the most part, when I was hunting, I had very little in here. I was able to pull this off quickly. I was able to cinch that pack right down to a very, very small profile. And that was great for just the, you know, call them day trips, but also allowing me to make those adjustments. And sometimes bigger packs don't give you the flexibility to do that. Now, a couple things that I wasn't a total fan of. They added in this little, it's basically a locking mechanism on the buckles, which locks that strap in. And I can see that's a novel idea, because it really sucks when a strap, you have it in place, and then over the course of a day, load it up, carrying load, they'll kind of stretch out and release, and then all of a sudden your pack is not where you set it in the morning. However, when it's cold, and we saw some cold weather, those are hard to handle without taking your gloves off. And if you have cold hands and you have a hard time with cold hands and dealing with hard plastic, that might bug you just a little bit. The next thing that I would change is that the inside is very basic. Okay, there's no compartments to kind of separate gear. Now, these packs are meant for, you know, hauling loads, and not necessarily like your day tripping where you might have all these different little separators to put every different little tool or piece of equipment that you bring. But I would suggest for future packs that maybe there is just some subtle dividers, even just nylon webbing on the inside, because really it's just a big hole. It's just one compartment with the bladder pouch in there. And what I would do is use the bladder pouch to help. You know, I'd put some of my gear in that with my water bladder, just so that I knew exactly where it was when I reached in. Now, on that note, there is a side zipper, which is awesome for being able to get in to some of your gear from the side, rather than having to unhook the entire top of the pack just to be able to get down to something at the bottom. If you've got a hunting buddy with you, a lot of times they're the ones that get to do that for you. It does, when packing in, the pack does, you can get a lot of gear in here. We were able to pack in all of our gear for about a 6-day stay, and that included all tents, food, and hunting gear. I'm not a camera person, so I didn't have to carry all that extra weight of camera gear, but it did everything that I needed it to in terms of volume. I believe, I apologize for not knowing exactly, but I believe this is a 4300, and that was exactly what I needed. Now, the lid also adds a ton of volume, an opportunity for storing more gear. So just to recap, loved the pack, huge fan. I was especially happy with the adjustability of the torso, okay, being able to adjust that with their really that integrated system there. That was awesome. And then also the fact that the lumbar pad wasn't excessively thick, again, like I said in the beginning, putting us into this kind of lordotic position. It allowed me to be, you know, more neutral at my lower spine, which is so important when carrying heavy loads. Guys, love the pack, highly recommend it, and good luck to all you this season.